you cannot be anything you want. And this is going to go against every aspect that we teach our kids, every aspect that you've learned in your entire life. And you're going to actually come at me and think about and say even the concept of this, how dare you limit somebody's dreams? How dare you actually come at somebody and say they cannot be? And I am coming at you to tell you that you need to get over the fact that you didn't get a trophy for participating in baseball. Oh, but you did. You got awarded for not being good. You got awarded for not even being great most of your life. And in most of your life, you were encouraged to actually be something that you were not very good at or not going to be successful at in your life. Ouch. This stings. How could it be? How could it be? Because nobody was willing to have a conversation in the aspects of helping you and guiding you to where you wanted to be. And now you find yourself stuck. You are stuck in a career. You're stuck in a career. You're stuck in a workplace. You're stuck. You feel that you're stuck and you cannot move. And you really don't even know if this is what you are supposed to be doing. You really don't know if this is your purpose. You really don't know you anymore. Do you ever feel this? And worse yet, are you teaching your kids the same thing? So the premise is today to think about this concept. If you have kids, or if you've ever seen a kid grow up, they have I don't even like to use the word DNA, but they are who they are already. They're definitely not born as a blank slate. They're not coming into this world like, oh, okay, here's a blank slate. We're going to raise this one up to be, and you fill in the blanks. Even though many of us try, and it may have been tried on us. I was a damn good ski racer, but it wasn't what I was supposed to be. Meaning that I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked out and I trained and I trained and I trained and I got to a certain level. But you would think that if that was what I was supposed to be, then that would have gotten to a point that I would take over and win everything. Didn't happen. And even though I made it in the top echelon, the top small percentages of ski racers, that was it. And so what ensued was a series of guilt and shame. I could have done better. What could I have done more? What could I have actually gone? Where could I have gone? What should I do? And I remember as a junior in college, trying to make it work, still giving it up. Just giving it up. Because there was no other angles to go. While others that I knew continued to pursue this dream that they had, that they were supposed to be. None of which actually came to fruition. Now one would argue, well, yeah, but look at all the lessons that you learned. Absolutely. And there's lessons to learn. But imagine a life actually spent focused on what we already are. Meaning if we're templated, we come to this earth. I have 3 kids, and they are distinctly different. And they were distinctly different at birth. They were distinctly different before they could talk. Their actions, the way they fed, the way they slept. There was a difference. And there is a difference. And so imagine if we instead focused on what they already are and allow them to actually be what already exists. I know this seems a little ethereal. But if asked the question and guided down this path of what you want to be, hey, little Johnny, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a fireman. And little Johnny grows up to be a 110-pound little spitfire that doesn't have the strength to carry somebody out of a fire. And he lives his life in guilt and shame that he never could achieve his dream. Yep, it was a dream, but it wasn't reality. I say this, and even as I say this, I'm like, I fight it in my own mind. Like, I want to play the guitar so bad. And I've gotten to a point that I can, play some strings and chords, and I don't put enough time into it. But there is a reality that I am not a prodigy. I didn't pick up the guitar and it was like just natural for me. Nope, there's no prodigy here. I'm not going to actually compose songs. I'm not going to go that direction. It's not part of my DNA. Now, I could spend a lifetime and take time away from my family, take time away from my work, and just pursue a dream of being a country singer, say for instance. And maybe just enough hard work, I can go that direction. But if it's not in me, meaning this is not what it already exists, it's not going to happen. And so I want you to consider today, you figure like Beethoven's Fifth already existed. It was there. And Beethoven just reached up and grabbed it and put it in. So did Mozart. So did Michelangelo with the Sistine Chapel. I mean, that already existed. In fact, Michelangelo, when actually working on David, he said all they did was knock essentially the stone away that didn't belong. It already existed in that stone, and he believed that to be true. Einstein once said that if you continue to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its life thinking that it's stupid. So the tough part and the tough conversation is, yes, you may have lived a life succumbing to the ideals of the world, of what society put you in, said you should be. And you've spent a life trying to do something and failing, like a fish climbing a tree. You're just like, it just does not work for me. This is not, And then you walk away thinking you're stupid. You walk away. I walked away from ski racing going like, I was good. But man, I just wasn't there. And I wonder if there was a sport that could have been better. And how would I know? Don't know. It's not my parents' fault. There's no blame there. It was what I wanted. And I was allowed to pursue that dream. So you may be thinking now, that's great, Doc. That's totally great. But what do I do? I'm stuck in this career. I've chosen a career path. Yeah, me too. I spent a lot of money on my education. 8 years. 8 years. After high school. In college. Bachelor's degree. Doctorate degree. Am I stuck? No. If I wanted to change it, I'd change it. And I could change it. But the question for you today is, are you truly who you are? Or are you trying to actually live up to the ideals that aren't yours? And even worse yet, as I mentioned, if this is truly what you're doing, are you teaching your kids to do the same thing? Or are you willing to step up and have a conversation with yourself and a conversation with your kids to be able to engage on what they are, who they are, and what already exists within them? You guys know this, your personality existed well before you were born. In mom's tummy, you were there. Maybe even before, we don't know. But there's this ethereal connection that you have to recognize. Don't recognize it, that's okay. You can deny your spirituality, you can deny your purpose, you can deny that connection that exists. And continue to climb a tree as a fish, continuing to think that you are less than. And then you will fold into a society of anxiety and depression and pharmaceuticals to numb out the fact that we've never found out who we were supposed to be. A life unlived, actions that were taken in the wrong direction, and building guilt and shame, until it's not that. It's too much. And people often wonder, like, I don't know, get it. Why did he take his own life? Doesn't it make you wonder that the brain just has too much? Or slowly, with recreational drugs and alcohol and all the versions that are out there, we can numb out the pain of not living who we are, but trying to fit into the ideals, like a square peg in a round hole that just never is going to fit. But man, we can make some damage trying to get in there. So what is the action step? One, if this resonates with you, you have to shed the lie that what you have done, which is no more than action, which is no more different than anybody else could do, maybe have not gotten you to the place that you need to be. And then you make it your life's work to focus on being whoever you are. That's right. Going back and shedding all the ideals that have been put on you. And you flop like this fish that was trying to climb a tree and get into the waters where you've been made to swim. The other part of Einstein's quote that he starts with is everybody is a genius. Say it again. Everybody is a genius. But if you continue to judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its life thinking that it's stupid. Are you climbing a tree? Are you teaching your kids to climb a tree? Dang it, these are hard things. Are you willing to collide with the loved ones that are around you that you're leading right now and have this conversation of like, I don't know if this is for you. You want to do this for fun? You want to actually play football for fun? Awesome. That's cool. But let's focus on developing who you are. You are already in existence. And let's focus there. And you know it. It's not that hard. You already know it. And the greatest of all times that exist in our world are those that just stepped in to what they already are. And you'll see it. They say this even. You know, it was just natural. No, it was not natural. It's unnatural. It's unnatural for me. It's unnatural for you. But that quarterback can throw a football 80 yards and entertain people and stay at levels that they can stay at levels at. It was just in them. It was what they already were. They were in existence before they came to existence. The people that fold into and become accountants that just see numbers and see things amazing ways. It's not what they do, it's who they are. And that's the tip and the trick for you today. It's not what you do that defines you, it's who you are. And you may have been spending an entire life doing what it is. For instance, like me, I do chiropractic. But leading people is who I am. That's already in me. That's already in me, and I know that. But chiropractic's what I do. It is a mechanism that I have used to free people from the bondage of pain and deterioration and lead them Chiropractic's what I do. It's not who I am. So where are you at with this? Not what you do, but who are you? You might consider, and that's a ringtone for you. You might just consider making it your life's journey to be who you already are. That's all I got for you today. This is life, this is love, and this is light. Living up and above. For you and a dog barking. Life goes on. We'll talk to you next time.